3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Yo, Jeff, what's up? So, welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. As you may see right now, it's a very interesting morning. Adam, unfortunately, and as many of you guys already know, and you might have already guessed it, he is sick. JB, if you pan to Adam's chair, he is not there currently. But someone who's going to fill that chair very soon, a very special guest. Eazy from the Woodward Heavyweights, he's pulling up very quickly, and we're going to chop it up about a lot of different things. So it's going to be me for the time being. I'm sorry if you're not looking forward to it, but it's the cards were dealt today. So I'm excited. We got a lot to give to Derek Carr signing with the Saints, Geno Smith and his contract extension with the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to get into more fan mock drafts later in the show. I do want to take calls, 313-552-6322. Don't be afraid to call any of these topics. I want to get to the people as much as I can today. We're going to need it. Plenty of things to talk about. We're also going to talk about Jameson Williams, the Aaron Rodgers news with the Jets, and what his future looks like. It was been reported he talked to New York this Monday, yesterday. So, yeah, packed show today. And I do want to talk a little about yesterday, the Pistons game, because – and I'm assuming you guys didn't watch the game, and I can't blame you, quite frankly, because the first quarter, I would have turned it off. But I stuck through it. I watched the entire thing. Pistons competed down the stretch. But for the most part, you had Chauncey Billups. I think that was the number one thing. Jeremy Grant, those guys, they come back to Detroit. It was nice to see the gratitude that Chauncey received. I mean, anytime he walks in LCA, he's going to get that type of love. He's one of my favorite players of all time, and someone that selfishly I wanted to coach the Detroit Pistons. But he's with the Trailblazers. Jeremy Grant, though, and I've seen these rumors circulating, him possibly returning back to the Detroit Pistons. And if Adam was here, he'd get out the baseball bat in his closet. I like Jeremy Grant, and it was nice, too, to see Cade yesterday on the court warming up. Even the stuff he went through looks a little bigger, if you guys haven't noticed. I mean, he looks like he gained weight. Looks a little stronger, legs look a little thicker. So credit to Cade, man. He's staying in shape. He's locked in. Even though he's not playing currently, he's still remaining in game shape. Jay Nivey, though, struggled last night as well. It was just a weird game. I mean, they're losing these games in the first quarter. Like, if you watch any of these games, they start off slow, they finish, and still it just isn't enough because they start so bad. Pistons, though, good news. If there's any good news with the Detroit Pistons, since the All-Star break, top 10 in the league in defensive efficiency, if I'm not mistaken. They're on the border. They're 11th. Excuse me. The Raptors are 10. So, again, for a team that was so bad defensively all season, they're top 11 right now. So, say what you want about the team itself and how the makeup of the DNA and how they're coached. Since they've got James Wiseman, they've gotten better defensively. And again, I that's something that even myself, I criticize, because with James Wiseman, I don't know how good of a defender he was or is. I mean, you didn't see him a lot in Golden State. When you did see him, the numbers weren't great. I mean, Sadiq Bey statistically was a better defender. But again, James never got that type of opportunity. So you're seeing James last night, 3 blocks. He played well. And again, you're looking at yesterday, and even without Cade, Bojan, Beef Stew, Duran, like, those guys were all out. So you kind of had to throw some guys together. You had Wiseman, Bagley, Liver starting, and they competed. So that's all you could ask for. It is what it is. The Pistons, they stink. And for a team right now and where they're heading into the offseason, the best thing you can ask for is for them to compete but stink. And they're doing both of those things at the same time. So for me personally, it is everything I've asked for. I want to get to some of these comments too. YouTube.com/ you can go to woolworthsports.com, by the way, and check it out. Check out our articles, clothes. Got a lot of things popping there. But let me read some of these comments. Look at who's here behind me. Oh, who is this? Yo. The man, the myth, the legend, Eazy is here to chop it up. Let me get some of these comments. Chuck Brewer says, Bay's bad defense gone also helps. You're absolutely correct, Chuck. Dad Retret says, Sadiq is a below-average defender and shooter who needs a 3-and-D guy. Needs to be a 3-and-D guy. Absolutely correct. If Sadiq wants to get paid, that's how you do it. Drago says, give JB back to Ermanni and Edwards, you all some thieves. What do you, I mean, come on, JB. I heard that yesterday, too. Ermanni and Edwards had some sound issues yesterday.
Oh, yeah, they had some major sound issues.
And I was tagged on Twitter, and he said, you guys need to give JB back to Ermanni and Edwards. They needed him. Y'all some thieves. I think they called us thieves again. So, JB, your thoughts on that?
Oh, man. You guys aren't thieves. Like, I'm happy to help out wherever I can, especially with you guys as well, too. And, you know, since Fish is no longer here, you know, wherever you guys need help at, I will be there to assist. Although the sound issue from Ermanni, Edwards, and Mass, not my fault. I have no idea what happened. I just showed up here like an hour before the show, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
So we're it's a lot of audibles that were called today. And my good friend Eazy pulled up. So shout out to Eazy from the Woodward Heavyweights, 5 to 7 weekdays. Eazy, how you doing, man?
What up, though, man?
Dude, I'm so happy you're here. We got a lot to talk about, and I kind of teased it already. Did you catch the Pistons game at all last night?
Come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Who watching the Pistons anymore, man?
Bro, I
almost went. I wanted to see Shaden Sharp versus Jaden Ivey.
That was a big thing, too. You got to see Shaden Sharp, Chauncey, Jeremy Grant.
Did it go down?
Well, they had a bad first quarter. The Pistons did, and they ended up losing the game.
What, the Pistons?
Yeah. They
rough start for the Pistons?
Oh, yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, dude,
surprise. Can I ask you something? I saw
Yeah.
things circulating. Jeremy Grant back to the Pistons.
Yeah.
Number one, why the hell is that even a conversation? Number two, what are your thoughts on that? Would you like a Jeremy Grant reunion?
I wouldn't be upset with it, no.
No.
I think they should obviously address that need in the draft.
Absolutely. Brandon Miller.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think it's been long reported the relationship that Jeremy Grant and Troy Weaver have, along with Kay Cunningham out there GMing it up, as I've seen on Twitter. But that's obviously I'm just saying what up to the boy. In reality, it's probably not going to be a thing. Would I hate it if it did become a thing? No, not at all. Yeah. If it did become a thing also, though, Troy Weaver is like, he's like inching closer to Stevie Y. Like that's you got asses back for a guy that you're getting back while you're ready to compete. Like that's
like, it reminds me of when the Pistons, they traded Lindsey Hunter. He was bought out, and then he signed back with the Pistons.
Tony McDice.
Yeah. Like that stuff. It's like, dude, the absolute fleece. But a couple other things I want to get to, too, and we'll talk about it. Derek Carr signing with the Saints. Geno Smith getting his extension. I know, we share similar views about the quarterback situation and what the Lions should do moving forward, so I want to talk about those contracts as well. Yeah. Did you see, by the way, quickly, before we go to break, did you see Ja Warrant trending? Instead of Morant, it's Warrant. But they just, it's bad. Ja Warrant.
Yeah, he earned that one. He earned that one all by himself. He got no excuses. Like, I see a lot of people saying, like, watch the company you keep. Nah, bro, that was him holding the gun. It wasn't his friend holding the gun against his face on his Instagram Live. That was him on his Instagram holding the gun in his hand. Like, he earned that one.
And that's, I saw that on Twitter. I was on Twitter yesterday, and I see Ja Morant trending, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Dude. The internet is undefeated. I click on it, and there you go. All the news about Ja Morant. And now, honestly, didn't even think about this. He brought the gun on the plane.
Dude, you're not supposed to bring guns into clubs.
So, well, and he brought it on. Like, he's probably out for the rest of the season. Like, there's no, he would be suspended 50-plus games.
No, he's coming back.
He should be.
Gilbert Arenas
brought
a gun
in the locker room. Yeah. Well,
to the locker room and then insulted a teammate with it.
But I guess in today's world, I feel like for Ja, you gotta be able to make a statement with him. Maybe use him as the poster child a little bit, because like that can't happen. I mean, Gilbert Arenas, that stuff back in the day, like you'd see more often. But in today's NBA, how the hell do you? Number one, you have a gun. And Steven Adams, there was a report too. He had a meeting with the team, and he was like, "Guys, we got to stop going out. We got to start taking this serious." And then like a couple days later, the Ja Morant stuff comes out. He's like, "God!"
That's funny.
Steven Adams was like, "Get me the hell out of here."
When Steven Adams was here in Detroit, he was down at the brewery.
Oh, he was?
Yeah,
that's Steven Adams for you, man. No doubt about it.
That's funny as hell.
We're going to go to break, but when we get back, I want to get into something about the Lions. And it's a question I'll ask you guys as well. Needs are one thing, all right? We need the Lions to do X, Y, and Z this year. What about want? What is something you want the Lions to do this year, either as a team, maybe guys individually, Dan Campbell, Brad? What do you want to happen besides need? What would you like to happen? We're going to get into that next. But before, I got to tell you about a reliable defense, a defense that you should draft #1 overall every single time, and it's Guardian Alarm. Because Guardian Alarm has customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call them anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you for as long as you need. They also have technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Look at this guy, Gary. Down 62 pounds.
And he lost his feet too.
Could never be me.
But he gained. Gary looks good, man.
If I wanted to look as good as Gary, I would probably go to Custom Health Centers, all right? Get your customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the ways that weight affects your health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Custom Health Centers is blessed to have over 20,000 successful stories. It has been an honor to help many professional athletes to lose weight and improve their health. People like Detroit Lions, Eddie Murray, and Detroit Pistons, Rick Mahorn. Start losing weight today. Call Dr. Jason at Custom Health Center at 844-789-8446. That's 844-789-8446.
We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Jeff Iafrate filling in, hosting the show today. And then my guy filling in for Adam, Eazy from the Woodward Heavyweights, every day 5 to 7. Check those boys out. You guys survived the audio issues yesterday. So
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so at least we got that good news.
We started like this little bullshit argument about boogers, and audio came on as soon as we were doing that.
Dude, that crap just happens, man. Happens like that. I see people talking about in the chat, and that's something, we were going to get into the Lions, but this kind of, pertains to the Lions anyway. I see a lot of Anthony Richardson talk, and I feel like as impressive as he was, I don't want to say I was surprised because we knew how athletic he was coming in. Now the deep balls, the vertical, the broad jump, the 40 time, all that stuff is extremely impressive. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the Anthony Richardson hype? Because my personal take on it is, as much as I like the size, and I can see why GMs would be obsessed with that talent, right? The deep ball, the arm, the size, the speed. I get that. And GMs have egos, or coaches have egos, they feel like they can fix any issue. So they look at Anthony Richardson and they be like, well, yeah, he may not be the most accurate. His timing might not be that greatest. His progressions might not be the greatest, but we can fix that. He has all the tools itself. My concern is, if your best traits are strictly your athleticism and then your deep ball is also another trait, I feel like the whole story on Anthony Richardson over the combine had everything to do with his broad jump, his 40 time, his vertical. And Shannon Sharp said something funny yesterday. He said, if we're playing leapfrog, Anthony Richardson, I'm drafting him number 1 overall.
Yeah,
he goes,
I
because
saw that.
but if we're talking playing in the NFL and playing quarterback, Your thoughts on just his combine and the overall hype around his athleticism. Is that something that you think as a quarterback? I mean, I've seen him as high as 2 on some people's boards. And I don't understand how anybody in their right mind can rank him over Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. I just can't. Now, if we get to Will Levis, you can have those debates. But what say you about Anthony Richardson?
First and foremost, I 100% agree. I think it's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and then everybody else. But in terms of, like, Anthony Richardson and his best quality, it's that rookie deal. I mean, you're looking at a situation that just happened in the Super Bowl this year with Jalen Hurts. The guy system this year typically from 8 to 10 told you guys he was going to be out of the league. But when you have him on that rookie deal, guess what they surround him with, Jeff? An elite cast.
Yeah.
And they drafted elite weapons around him too. But that's what you can afford when you have these guys in these rookie deals. Like, you can. Cam Newton was an athlete at the quarterback position. Cam Newton played in the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson was an athlete at the quarterback position, which I think Lamar gets a lot of flack. I think he's a lot better at throwing the football than he gets credit for.
Absolutely, I agree.
But nonetheless, like, these are people who still, like, had success in the NFL. Now, more specifically on those rookie deals. And I think that if the Lions are thinking about it, because they did visit Florida, 6 times?
Yeah.
They weren't visiting 6 times for Osiris Torrance. Let's be real about it. It was for Anthony Richardson, and it was 6 times because of the same stuff that you're talking about. You see the traits,
yeah,
but then you also see him throw the football at times. You're like, But he said it at the combine himself during the press conference portion of it, and interview portion is like when he's asked like why the 55% completion percentage, and he tells you, my whole entire life I've been the biggest, strongest athlete on the field, and I've been able to like take over games by just doing that. But that high level of football, which is the SEC, you have to start playing a little bit of quarterback. So he's still very much a developmental piece. And I think he saw the arm strength. That was a big thing for me. I didn't care about the broad jump. I didn't care about the 40 time. I didn't care about none of that stuff. But the throwing portion, I did like to see.
Yeah, he was slinging that thing.
He was slinging that thing, man.
Yeah.
Those 63-yard bombs to whoever the hell was catching the football. I mean, as a Lions fan, how can you not think of like Jameson Williams in those situations? And knowing that, like, Goff missed him on a few last year.
Yeah. And
some of it was chemistry, and I'm saying the intermediate routes.
But if
like
you're talking arm talent,
yeah.
I mean, Anthony Richardson has more arm talent. We can agree there.
And let's be real, too. Like, we have a guy, and I don't know how long he's going to be here, but we have a guy in Ben Johnson who can fix quarterbacks. I mean, we point blank seen it this past year. I mean, 2021, Jared Goff was, I feel like everybody's ready to get him out of here. Everybody's ready to get Jared Goff out of here. But as soon as Ben Johnson was able to get his hands on him and get more incorporated with building that offense. And by the way, too, like, I don't even know if Ben Johnson so much so like helped Jared Goff rather than put him in positions to succeed. And I think he has that same mindset if it comes to like Anthony Richardson. But nonetheless, I think the most important trait is that rookie deal.
Yeah,
you're going to be able to build a stellar team around him.
No, I 100% agree. I think a rookie deal for any quarterback, it's the most valuable thing in the NFL. I mean, you look at the 2 teams in the NFC title game, 2 rookie deals. Like you look at Trevor Lawrence, rookie deal. Like these guys, typically when you can build a team around those guys, and that's why I talk about Goff in the future, and people get offended because, and I understand it. And listen, I'm a guy who, me and you went back and forth. I've defended Goff a lot, and I think Goff, I do give him a lot of credit, and we agree. I think he's good enough to win a division. I think he's good enough to win a playoff game. Is he good enough to win a Super Bowl? I'm not going to say that, but he got there. Was it because of him solely? No, but he got there.
Perfect example. When did Goff go?
When he had Todd Gurley.
What kind of deal was he on?
On a rookie deal.
Right? Like, that's just...
100%. Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. And that's why, when you're looking at quarterbacks, and JB, I want to ask you too, because I haven't really gotten to talk to you about quarterbacks strictly, because we talked a little about Bryce Young yesterday, but Anthony Richardson, the tools he possesses. I feel like Anthony Richardson could be, out of all the quarterbacks, he has maybe even the highest ceiling, but also the lowest floor. Like there's like this, you don't know what kind of quarterback he's going to turn into, because he used to call himself, Cam Jackson when he was in high school, because he was Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson into one quarterback. Your thoughts on Anthony Richardson, man? Because I think personally, can we all agree is 6'2" high? 6'2" high to take Anthony Richardson.
No. If Brad Holmes deems fit, like, no, it's not.
Because I agree he'll be a top 10 pick, but I'm staying the hell away from that. What do you think,
That's the thing. When you have a guy like that, the mold, you got to take him early. Go ahead, JB. I apologize.
No. You're fine. I don't think I'm taking him at 6, though. I really don't. I know he's going to be a project, but I'm just not willing to risk that 6th pick on a QB that early that I know is not going to be ready to automatically hit the field. I know it's going to take some time for him to get adjusted a lot more but I really would look at some other options. Anthony Richardson isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still like AR-15, but I just think the Lions should wait on a quarterback. And even though he was one of the quarterbacks that they did get to meet with over this past weekend at the Combine, I still would, just be a little bit cautious of him. Like, he always completes, 50% of his passes back in college as well, too. I know it's the SEC, but still at the same time, it's like, come on, man. I need a little bit more from you from that. And I know you're going to get that out of him running, but still, like, can he be that durable in the NFL? Because this is a different league you're going up to.
Yeah, I think there's traits you look at with quarterbacks just in general, right? Completion percentage, touchdown interception ratio, how many did you win in college? Like, you look at measurables, you look at all that stuff. And Anthony Richardson, he checks out the measurables part. 6'4", got a cannon of an arm. I get all that. He runs 4.4 40.
4.3
40. The guy's got the speed. Now, once we get to completion percentage, winning games, and Florida didn't have the most talented team. I get that, but still, even with the cards he was dealt, I'm looking at quarterbacks that elevate, right? Elevate everyone around him. That's at least guys I look for. And with Anthony Richardson, you looked at some of the performances this year, and I've only watched 3 games. I watched one of them was the Kentucky game, which was kind of back and forth. But Anthony Richardson, when he struggled bad. And by the way, I want to get people's thoughts on this. If you want to call us, give us a call, 313-552-6322. We're going to be taking calls. If it's on Anthony Richardson, on the Pistons, whatever it is you guys want to talk about, call the station, because I do want to talk to the people about this. And if you like Anthony Richardson, you don't like him, please explain why. We could talk about it. But I trust Brad Holmes. I think we can all agree there. No matter who he takes. And again, if you don't think the Lions should take a quarterback, then you should love this Anthony Richardson talk. You should absolutely love this Anthony Richardson talk, because if he goes top 5, that would mean that possibly a Will Anderson, a Jalen Carter, or maybe one of those guys slide down to you at 6. Now the question is, if you're sitting there at 6 and you got Will Anderson, or you have one of the other better defensive players, maybe a Jalen Carter, and you have an Anthony Richardson or whoever's available, who you taking? Like, let's say it's Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud. That's there for you. I think the obvious one would be Will Anderson, but it depends. Do you want a rookie quarterback? Do you like that rookie deal enough to be like, you know what, we're going to pass on whoever's there and we'll take the rookie?
Yeah, outside of like the blindly calling people busts and stuff like that, the one argument you can have against the quarterback argument is that like there have been good quarterbacks drafted past that 10th pick mark. You look at Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, right. There's still that. But in terms of like picking them 6, like sometimes if you think that's a guy or like he's a top guy in the draft, like he's gonna go there. I mean, Daniel Jones. I remember the draft. I'm not a New York Giants fan, and I was saying there's no way his kid goes 6. Like this. Yeah. This is not,
I thought it was Dwayne Haskins.
That was going to go to New York. One too.
He ended up sliding.
Yeah, but what happens? Lo and behold, Daniel Jones goes 6. Josh Allen with the same completion percentage as Anthony Richardson.
I know, but
goes 7 to the Bills, and it works out. Daniel Jones with the funny enough, the Bills' offensive coaching staff, Brian Daboll becomes head coach of the Giants. Now you start to see Daniel Jones look like a guy that can win you games in the NFL.
True.
I mean, he won a playoff game actually this season. But I don't think it's too early if you have the right coaching staff in place, and I believe the Detroit Lions finally have that.
Yeah, no,
I really do.
Who do we got, JB? Who's on the line?
All right, so we got Kyle on line 1.
What's going on, Kyle? What do you want to talk about?
How's it going, buddy? Richardson. Let's talk about Richardson. I called last night, talked to you guys last night about Richardson, too. I think 6 is still way too high. Like Malik Willis last year, everyone was saying that Malik Willis is going to be taken in the top 5, but, man, he fell to, the 3rd round?
Yep, you are correct.
And so I don't think anyone's going to take him that high. And the reason why is because nobody wants to risk their career on someone who has problems throwing a football like that.
So where do you have him, if you like any quarterbacks in this draft, where do you have him ranked?
Man, I did a PFF mock draft, and it dropped freaking C.J. Stroud to pick 18, and I couldn't help but drool on that one. But
oh, my God.
I know. I was like, well, luckily this is just a mock draft, man. This would be cool if this was real.
No,
I mean,
no,
I like – no, you're fine.
I was just going to say, I agree with everything you're saying, Kyle. I think 6 is too high. And even the Lions last year, remember, they teased that quarterback conversation, and then they ended up taking one. So, again, you don't really know what directions Brad's going to go. It just depends if you like the player. And I'm with you. I think 6 is maybe too high for Anthony Richardson. But can we agree that he'll probably be a top 15 pick?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't even know about top 15 because everyone has most people have a quarterback. Most teams have their quarterback. There's maybe 4 or 5 teams that don't have a quarterback that they want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I think he's going to fall to the second round, maybe third round, like Malik Willis did. And at that point, I'm saying, hey, if they fall to the second or third round, take a flyer on him. I'm good with that. Just not at 18. We need an Adham Jeff at number 6. We need the biggest, ugliest motherfucker you can get. Inside defensive we need that. That's what we need. And then we need the skinniest, tallest, ugliest, fastest, best hand corner that we can get our hands on. We don't need a quarterback at 6 or 18, but if he falls to the second round, I'd say take a chance on him.
No, I respect that, Kyle, man. I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts, man. You're welcome back anytime.
Dude, I appreciate you guys.
Yes,
have a good morning.
Yep,
Have a good morning,
Kyle.
Wow. He's not falling.
You heard that.
Third
round pick. JV, who do we got? Anybody else online?
Yeah, we got a couple people on the line. So here's Tyrell for you guys.
Tyrell from FL. What's going on, baby?
Yo, Jeff, what good, man? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good morning, Tyrell.
I'm fantastic. It's good to talk to you. It's Terrell. There's no Y in my name. Y'all always do that to me. But I have a point, and I have a question for y'all that I need you guys to answer for me, especially from Eazy, the resident golf hater in the house. So, can y'all explain to me? I'm just kidding, Eazy. I know I watch you guys in the afternoon too. I see y'all.
Appreciate
but,
you.
But can you guys explain to me what the difference between Jamarcus Russell and Anthony Richardson is? Anyone?
I'll let Eazy take that.
To be honest, I gotta be real with you guys. When Jamarcus Russell was coming out of the draft, I was like 12 or 13 years old. So I don't have like a much.
You don't have the whole breakdown of Jamarcus Russell.
I don't have a whole assessment of Jamarcus Russell. I'll say.
Oh, well, damn. It made me feel old in this bitch. Come on, Easy. Damn.
Well, what I can tell you about Jamarcus Russell, that in college, he threw his last year, junior year, almost 70% completion percentage. So I guess coming out, at least statistically, he was a much more accurate passer. And that was at LSU, 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So at least he has that going for him, Terrell.
Fair.
Yeah, that's true. But it's kind of the same thing. You know, it's one of those guys that shows up in shorts, just like Malik did last year.
Absolutely.
Throws a bunch of 70-yard bombs, and then everybody's drooling all over him like he's the GOAT. Like, it's fucking underwear Olympics, bro. That shit doesn't mean nothing when there's no pressure in your face.
Yeah. No, and again, that's the big thing. And that's why I love Dan, right, Terrell? I mean, he came out and said, I don't care about any of these dudes in their underwear. Like, we want to watch the tape.
Good,
and
exactly.
That's what matters. I think players, you can boost your stock at the combine, but if you're leaning on a broad jump in a vertical jump, you're good luck with that.
I think the difference between this year's quarterback situation and last year's quarterback situation is nobody in the NFL seemed to like any of the quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett was the only guy to go in the first round, and he didn't go until into the teens. And the thing with Malik Willis, there was a game where Liberty literally played, I think it was Ole Miss. You had Matt Corral and Malik Willis in that game. The Lions didn't send a single scout. They sent 6 times to go see this guy, Anthony Richardson. Now, he scares the living shit out of me too, but I just think it's something we have to. There's something there. There's something there with him that's different from the rest of these guys we're comparing him to.
I do trust the coaches when it comes to the quarterback thing, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. But, Jeff, I did want to touch on the point that you and I were talking about yesterday when it comes to Bijan Robinson. Mm-hmm. You remember that convo?
Oh, yeah.
So this is the thing, bro, like that I mentioned yesterday. Everybody wants to talk about rookie contracts and rookie deals and all that stuff, but you guys are conveniently missing the point that DeAndre Swift is also in his contract year. You cannot draft a running back and then have somebody that good and that talented sitting on the bench not getting carries, because I promise you this, all those little injuries that DeAndre Swift got, those little dings, games, blah, 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 playing for their money and their livelihood, it's so convenient how those little injuries just magically don't happen anymore, and they get to be like, you know, big ballers, and they don't get hurt, and they go out and put up their best years. I guarantee you he's going to show up and do the same thing. So you can't sign Williams and have Swift and have Robinson on the same team, bro. That's not going to work. Now, I do share y'all's concerns when it comes to Swift and all that stuff, and if he does come out this year and has a good year, I still wouldn't re-sign him. But you still have that dude sitting there, and he cannot be sitting on the bench when he's healthy. DeAndre Swift is too good for that. Sorry, that's my opinion about the running back situation.
And Terrell, I appreciate you speaking the truth, man. Although I may disagree with you about Swift, I completely understand where you're coming from. But I appreciate the call, man. You're welcome back anytime. Yeah. You know that.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate y'all.
Yep. Take care. Guys, we're going to go to break. When we get back, I do want to get into some of these fan mock drafts. Eazy can react with me. I pulled up 6 randomly across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. 6. If you guys haven't already, at Jeff Iafrate, send me your mock drafts, Instagram and Twitter. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Chili Peppers Tanning. If you're looking to get a tan, I got the place for you. It's the cleanest salon in the D with spotless sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations and more on the way.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Some favorites during Lent like shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. Get your local Big Boy today. Don't forget the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet on Friday nights. We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, woodwardsports.com. Articles, merchandise. Check it all out. Jeff Iafrate hosting today, filling in for Adham Beydoun, who is out sick. To no one's surprise. Get better, though, buddy. Miss you. He'll be back expected tomorrow, but he's dealing with some pain right now. I'm sure he's tuning into the show. We miss you. But we got my guy Eazy here, so I'm excited to get into it. We got some callers waiting. 3 callers, couple callers.
Yeah, we got a couple callers waiting here. I'll give you guys Blade right here.
All right.
Not Wesley Snipes. So.
What's going on, Blade?
That's a letdown.
What up, though?
What do you want to talk about, my man?
I want to touch on the Pistons, and I want to touch on the Lions. First, the Pistons. I don't think we should sign Jeremy Grant. I think it's a waste of money. I don't think him and his contract gets us anywhere. Just play in at best. I say Troy needs to just slow roll it.
Yeah.
And as far as the Lions, Anthony Richardson at 6. I kind of agree, but then I don't. You see the money that Geno got, Derek Carr got.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna pay Goff that money? I don't know.
You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up, Blade, because that's the first thing I thought of too yesterday, man. When I saw the news, Geno got extended, Derek got the deal. It seems like the quarterback market, and you're seeing Daniel Jones ask for it. 40, 45 million, whatever he's asking for. The quarterback market, it seems there's more quarterbacks than teams that need quarterbacks. So you're seeing deals like Derek where he's getting an average of 37 per year. You're getting Geno with an average of 35 per year. He's making 52 next year, his first year. But that's a good question because that's something I bring up, Blade, a lot on the show is the possibility of drafting a quarterback. What are your thoughts on that, the idea of taking one at 6? Are you comfortable with it?
I personally wouldn't, but if Brad did, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I can see it.
Right. Yeah. And to your point about Jeremy Grant, by the way, man, I'm 100% behind you. I think that position, that 4 spot, that wing will be addressed in the draft. If you pick 3 or 4, I mean, if you get Victor, that's another story. But if you're picking 3 or 4, you get Amon Thompson or you get Brandon Miller. I'm with you. I mean, you get him on a rookie deal. I'd rather have those guys go spend the money elsewhere than drop a bag on Jeremy Grant.
Quick question: do you think Victor can play the 4?
Yes. Honestly, Victor to me can play anything.
He's gonna have to.
He just looks like a basketball player. You put him at the 3, 4, 5, he could just go out there and hoop. I mean, he's got the entire package. No, well, not literally, but that's where the game's moving, though. It's positionless, and for someone like Victor who can handle the ball, can shoot the ball from anywhere, can pass the ball, rebound the ball, you play him at the 4 or the 5, I think he'll be fine. The biggest question though with Victor is, can he hold up? Physically, that's really the only thing. But skill set wise, yeah, he could play 4, 5, 6. I mean, you could play it all, man.
Do you think that the Lions should trade back, and do you think that we double dip at corner?
Well, trading back is the most ideal for me personally. If a quarterback's there at 6, me and Adam have argued about this. I'd rather just take him. I don't want to trade back and get extra unless you get an offer you simply cannot refuse, which is a first next year, maybe some other picks included. But if it's trade back for a second-round pick or whatever it is, I'm just taking the guy. I'm just taking whoever I like if he's there.
I have a theory with trading back, and it pertains to actually addressing the quarterback position too, but possibly next year. And I thought specifically to the Washington Redskins, but anyone that has to give up 2 first-round picks to go and get this number 6 pick from Detroit Lions, I'm down for it, because then you're re-entering the Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
Right.
If you want a quarterback, I mean that's the guy, right? And you're getting your draft asset for this year too. I'm all for trading back if it's available, and I think that this Anthony Richardson hype is beautiful. The Jalen Carter stuff happening a little bit too is beautiful for the Detroit Lions in a trade back scenario. I'd also would love to draft Jalen Carter though. I ain't gonna lie. Appreciate you
I was
calling
watching
in,
PFF, and they had Will Anderson fall into the Lions at 6.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think that's the best case scenario, man. I appreciate you calling, Blade, man. You're welcome back anytime, bro.
Appreciate you, Blade.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, sir. Who else we got? Who else we got, JB?
All right, I'm gonna send you guys Happy Camper here.
Happy Camper. Welcome to the show, my man. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, Jeff, real fast, that windmill dunk by Ivy, love that, man. Next year, Ivy's, if he gets to play 30 minutes, we're going to be rocking and rolling, hopefully with Victor as well. But to the Lions, I think we're in the greatest position we've been in forever. On that, I think we could. It really depends on what we can accomplish with a free agent. If we could possibly get Jalen Ramsey, there's a little bit of talk about Derrick Henry being able to be obtained with just a second-round pick before that draft. If we can secure a couple positions there to give us a little more flexibility, I'd be great with Stroud. I'd be great with Richardson at 6. Think about this. The Super Bowl champions gave us that pick, so it's kind of house money in a sense.
Yep.
Golf was durable last year, but that doesn't guarantee. That's a hard position to stay healthy in. And then, of course, instead of giving him big money, there's a lot of reasons to pick a quarterback. And if you went with Richardson, you look at Taysom Hill when he was with the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
He's a gadget player that could also throw the ball.
You know who else with the Saints too? Dan Campbell.
Yes, and that's where I think Richardson. I normally wouldn't have said a quarterback this year, but man, I tell you what, that guy ran a 4.43. I know it's not just about speed, but the guy's huge, and he can throw it, pretty well. And then there was I seen something with Steve Mariucci.
Yep.
Where he threw him a play, and then he raced the board and tell him a play back, and he's pretty sharp there too. So there's a lot of intangibles I think that Richardson has too, and that's why they keep checking him out. But I'm excited. No matter what they do, we're going to be improved, and I think the Super Bowl is very possible this year.
Well, I appreciate you calling, man. Number one, by the way, to address the first point you said, Ivy in the dude. Yeah, I agree with everything. I watched the game last night. Ivy, when he gets to play 30 minutes, which I love that you put that in there, the little asterisk. If he could play 30 minutes, then yes, Ivy is going to be a tremendous player. But me and you are in the same boat with the quarterback talk, and I think Eazy would agree too. Like a couple different quarterbacks in this draft, and there's a lot about Anthony Richardson. I have my favorites. Everybody has their own favorites among this quarterback group.
Yeah.
But you're not lying, Happy Camper. I mean, everything you said about Anthony Richardson's factual. And I think he doesn't get enough credit for how intelligent he is. Because, again, you see the completion percentage. Everyone assumes he's just the guy's dumb. Like, no, he's an intelligent football player. Maybe the decision-making isn't there yet. Doesn't mean it can't be coached. I'm not gonna be naive and say that.
During the Combine, one of the NFL Network analysts broke down, like, one of his games and the incompletions that he did have, resulting to that 55%.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, there were 6 incompletions within the game. 4 of them were drop passes. 2 of them were bad passes. And then the other one, one was a bad pass on the screen, bubble screen, and the other one was a batted interception because the receiver couldn't catch the ball.
Right.
So, like, if you're looking at that 55%, that's why I'm more of a film guy than an analytics guy, because there's so much context that results in that happening. It's easy to just say these numbers, but you're really just saying them blindly, because without actually had watched in the game to see why that happened, you look like I don't want to say you're uninformed, I should say.
Yeah, no, if you're strictly relying off statistics, and Happy Camper, appreciate the call, my man.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
good morning.
He was spot on with that stuff. So again, you're welcome back anytime, though.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Love the show.
Yeah, appreciate it. Take care, man. We got anybody else, JB?
Oh yeah, we got a couple people here. I will send you
bring him in.
Braxton,
welcome to the show, my man. What do you want to talk about?
Good morning.
What's good? What's good?
What's going on?
I just wanted to touch on the Anthony Richardson situation. I feel like a whole bunch of fans, when they hear quarterback, they think oh, Goff had an amazing year, blah, blah, blah. But this is the thing. When we traded him, the old team threw him in just so we could take on his contract. He was just a throw-in. You can't get to that. He could take us to that ceiling, the Super Bowl is the ceiling, but we can't win one with him. His last team showed us this. So I feel like you have to take a quarterback this year. If it's at 6'4", 18, you have to take one, because you can't just sit and be stagnant with this team. I feel like Goff is good. He's a 10 to 15 quarterback, but you have to take one. And with the Anthony Richardson situation, like Eazy was saying, all of his incompletions are not on complete inaccuracy and just bad decision making. He has incredible, next to Bryce Young, he has the best pocket presence in this class. I barely see him get sacked. Some of the incompletions are throwaways, and with Florida this year, they have Pearsall was their best receiver. The best players in Florida now do not go to Florida. They go to, you just saw, Cormani McClain went to Colorado, literally flipped from Miami to Colorado. So they didn't have the best talent around him. I feel like you put him in an offense with St. Brown and Jameson Williams and Swift or whoever in the backfield. And this is the thing. We have the perfect situation for him to succeed with Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell. So I feel like if any team has the chance and the capabilities to make him a superstar, it's the Lions or the Giants.
Yeah, I think I'm with you 100%. I'm not in love with Anthony Richardson as a quarterback right now, but I am falling in love with him as a prospect. And just like Braxton just said, we have the perfect situation here in Detroit. One, he sits a year. So for all of the people that we have Goff now, you still have Goff next year to play.
Yeah,
Anthony Richardson's going to sit. 2, you have Ben Johnson, a brilliant offensive mind. 3, you have a great offensive line. This is one of the best scenarios for an Anthony Richardson to sit 1 year and develop as a quarterback. And to another point, when he talked about the future of Jared Goff, we're looking at the Geno Smith contract, $35 million a year. You're looking at the Derek Carr contract, $37 million a year. Daniel Jones wants $40 million a year. Jared Goff is up in 2 years.
He gonna want at least 40.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he might want 50.
He could want 50.
And if we're being real about it too, you saw what Jared Goff was before Ben Johnson got his hands involved in this offense. Ben Johnson's more than likely probably going to leave as a head coach somewhere within the next 2 years, maybe even as soon as next year. When he leaves, and you're left, because here's the thing: is similar to what Justin Fields did in Chicago this year. And granted, they didn't win a lot of games, sure, but in a situation where you don't have a great offensive play calling, if you have an athletic quarterback that can make plays for you, extend plays for you, especially when dude, I'm telling you, when I watched those 63-yard bombs during the combine, all I could think was Jameson Williams. And think about Anthony Richardson just running around back there, the same way you kind of and I don't want to make any comparisons with Patrick Mahomes, but I'm just trying to create a visualization in some people's head. J-Mo's breaking loose if Anthony Richardson's down there doing all that. And guess who has an arm to hit a Jameson Williams? It's Anthony Richardson. And I'm just warming people up to the idea. Again, I'm not in love with Anthony Richardson as a quarterback, but as a prospect that can sit here, as something to raw and develop. Like I'm here for it.
And that's where I think me and you are in the same boat. You might not love him, as a quarterback right now, but as a prospect, there's some things to like. We're gonna go to break. Appreciate the call, Braxton. By the way, welcome back anytime. Coming on the show. If you're speaking facts, if you're speaking facts, man, you're always welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care. We're going to go to break. When we get back, I want to get in some of these mock drafts. Me and Eazy are going to react to them. We'll get to callers later in the show. If you're waiting on the line, our apologies. We'll get back to you. Just stay on the line for us. But before we go to break, I got to tell you about our friends over at Swiss Insurance. Let me tell you about them, guys, because you got to check with Swiss Insurance this week to make sure you have your commercial insurance review. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance, give them a shot and you won't be disappointed. Contact them, Mark at SwissINS.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Jeff Iafrate, Eazy filling in for Adham Beydoun. We got to get to these mock drafts. Yeah. And I've been getting a lot of mock drafts. By the way, if you're going to send mock drafts and you do 40 trades, I'm not going to use it. I'm sorry.
I got a whole beef with it. Stop trading in mock drafts, all right? Be a man. If a C.J. Stroud falls ahead of you, put your nuts on the table and make the decision and stand by it. All right? Because these mock trades, they're such bullshit.
I know.
They're all fake.
I got a couple yesterday, and I just on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm looking at them. And I'm trying to get to every message, by the way. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten to your message. There's a lot sitting there. I'm trying to respond. I want to respond to every single message, and thank you guys for sending them. But I saw a couple, and there was like 4 or 5 trades. I'm like, dude. Like one, maybe if you trade back, I'm okay with. But if you're making like,
but they're just not realistic.
No.
If somebody's offering me 2 first-rounders, their firstborn son, and a night out with their wife, I'm taking that.
Yeah,
no shit, I'm gonna take 5 first-rounders. like that's the type of shit I'm seeing half the time. Like I don't know, man. I just the trade just because they're not real.
No, they're not. They're not. Alex, if you could throw up any of the mock drafts I sent you, and we'll get right to it. So here we go. One trade. I much more prefer this style of drafting. You trade back to 11 for looks like a future second, or is that a current second? No, it's this year's second, and a 5th as well. They get the 6th, meaning the Tennessee Titans, and I'm sure they took a quarterback. You trade to 11 and get Christian Gonzalez, but then you double back up and take Joey Porter Jr. Okay? Siaki Ika in the 2nd round, Trenton Simpson, Jack Campbell, Darnell Washington, Jackson Kirkland, Eric Gray, Clayton Tune, Ronnie Bell. I don't mind some of the players. The only thing I don't like is doubling up on corner in the 1st round, then doubling up on linebacker in the 2nd round. But again, the players itself, like I like Trenton Simpson, I like Jack Campbell, I like Joey Porter. I like the players. I just don't like back-to-back corners in the 1st round.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in love with the back-to-back corners, depending on what the board looked like. Like if Khalil Kancey was there, or maybe like a Brise was there, I think you address that interior defensive line position at that point. But ultimately, I can't hate on it. The part I do, a lot of people are kind of hating on the back-to-back linebackers, but I think you look at like most defenses around the league, you look at that 4-3. You look at the conference championship game. Mm-hmm. All 4 of those teams ran a 4-3. I think part of the reason Detroit Lions ran that 4-2-5 this year was because what other linebacker going to put on the field? Like they really didn't have much options. So I think it is almost imperative the Detroit Lions address the linebacker position back-to-back, or at least twice during this draft. So you could run that 4-3 offense.
And that's the tough part. You got to know.
Defense,
I guess I got to know who was available. That's the big one. If Joey Porter was no doubt the best prospect available by far, I don't have an issue with it. I just don't like the idea of starting the season. You have Gonzalez and Porter as your two corners, or let's say your first corner and your third corner, whatever it is, and they're both rookies.
Because Jeff Aguda's still going to be a starter on this team.
Absolutely.
Jared Jacobs going to be a starter on this team.
So maybe you'll sign a corner for agency. But again, I like Darnell. My favorite pick, by the way, Darnell Washington in the third. To me, that's a steal. What he did at the combine, the freak he is, 6'7". You see him moving the sled, by the way.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, compared to like the other tight ends in the draft.
I've been anti-tight end until I seen that kid.
At least you're coming around.
This dude's different.
Yeah, he is literally built different. What would you grade this draft? If you had to. If Brad did this on draft night, guys on the YouTube chat thread on WoodwardSports.com, grade it as well. What would you give this draft if this was Brad's result?
In reality, you got to look at the positions of need for the Detroit Lions. Cornerback is one, interior defensive lineman is one, linebacker is one, guard, and or possibly future running back and or quarterback are all needs for the Detroit Lions. So I would have to roll with what PFF gave him. I gave him a B to B plus. Yeah.
Well, I would agree with you. I'd probably give him a B plus as well. Again, don't mind the players. Yeah. Maybe not as a big on the back-to-back corners.
But per need, I can't hate on it.
Yeah, exactly. Alex, you can throw up another one, and we'll see what we can get to here. This one, wow, one trade, but it's a hefty trade. There's a lot going on here. So you trade back to 9. You get a second-round pick, another second-round pick, a third-round pick, and a fourth-round pick. Okay, and then you give them 6, and they get a third-round pick and a sixth-round pick, I believe. Yes. So again, looking at the players he took, at 9, you take Devin Witherspoon. I love the first round. Devin Witherspoon, you trade back and still get him at 9. Then you get Kalijah Cansey. Emmanuel Forbes, my guy. I'm automatic A when I see him selected. Steve Avila. What do you think about guard in the second? Because I don't mind it, to be honest with you.
I used to hate it. I'm not going to lie. It kind of pissed me off. I feel like that's one of the – I mean, look at the Detroit Lions now. Jonah Jackson, guard for us, right? That was a third-round pick. Evan Brown, a guard that a lot of people's like, if I'm not mistaken, undrafted. Like, guard isn't one of those positions you necessarily need to invest in early.
Yeah.
So I didn't like the idea, but at the same time, it's something that Brad Holmes wants to do. I'm not mad at it. But the Detroit Lions was a top 5 offensive line unit in the league, and the guard was literally a rotating door. Like, it's not high on my board in terms of need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
we're
again,
able to perform without it.
For guard, like I believe Jonah was a third-round pick, Jonah Jackson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, again, it's not a position you're going out and chasing, unless there's a guy like maybe an Osiris Torrance this year who would probably be a higher pick. Then it's rightfully so.
I could put almost a top 5 offensive line unit in the league.
Evan Brown did a good job this year. So
and he wasn't even there the whole year. Again, it was turnstile.
So I'm 100. You can address that in free agency if you'd like. So I want to read some of these comments. Funky says, yeah, I'm about as big as Forbes as he is on the field. Well, I like Forbes. The only thing that holds me back from Forbes is definitely his weight. But you talk about the length he has, the size. Now, the size is a concern, right? You're 166. Doesn't mean he can't gain weight.
Yeah.
I just love the dog he has in him. When I look at corner, there's traits you look at. You look at, competitive nature, obviously IQ, fluidity in your hips, those things. I mean, he checks a lot of boxes, and he's a ultra competitor, and you can get him in the second round. So, again, I get why you'd be skeptical. He's 166. He's not very big up top, especially in his legs. You look at his legs; they're super skinny.
Yeah.
But when you see them run that 40, he's flying like he's running 4.35.
Well, that's the thing. It's like once he puts on that weight, he's still running that 4.35.
Well, let's give him a 4.4.
JB, can you do me a favor today?
Yeah, what's up?
Because can you ask Braylon? I guess what that means at the cornerback position now. That 166 pounds, like, is that something he's just throwing off of him and going for? You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's actually played the game. Like, there's a weight mean you think at the cornerback position, because really it's not the guy you're asking to step up and make tackles in the run game, right? Like you're asking him to defend the pass. Like, does that weight mean? I don't know. I wish Braylon was here to ask that.
Yeah, I got you. I'll shoot him a text, see if he's up.
and pull up that mock draft again, Alex, just to look at the second half. I know we kind of got stuck on Emmanuel Forbes, but the rest of the players he took: Sidney Brown, love it. Jack Campbell, love it. Devin H. Achan, who ran the fastest 40 this year at the Combine, super productive at Texas A&M this year. Love that pick. Sam Laporta in the 4th round. You get a tight end. I love that pick. Clara Brooks in the 5th round. He's from Michigan, to be honest with you, if I'm not mistaken. Jacob Slade. I actually like this draft. Maybe if you want to, if I had to critique it, maybe, you know, I want to take Jake Moody selfishly with that 194 pick, or you take a quarterback if you want to take a flyer on somebody instead of taking, you know, Jacob Slade. But still, all the other players, I love it. I'd probably give this one an A, just on terms of the players he selected.
Yeah, a little high on guard for me personally, but again, I don't mind it if it's something Brad Holmes decides to do. I probably B plus A.
All right, we'll throw up one more mock, and then we're going to go to break here. So let's see what we got. So 2 trades, one of them involving Jalen Ramsey, which, again, if you have Jalen Ramsey in a trade, your grade gets bumped because I love it. But the assets he got for him, though, let's see. They traded Jalen Ramsey. You gave him a second, a third, a fifth, and a second. Wow, there's a lot going on there. And I believe that second is next year's. Yeah, so you get a third round and a fourth round. It's kind of a complicated trade, but it is what it is. Let's see the players he selected. Jalen Carter at 5. You traded up to 5. Okay, I love it. Joey Porter, Jack Campbell, Nick Herbig, Dwayne McBride. I love Dwayne McBride, so that's a great pick. Ventrell Miller. All right, I don't mind this draft either. Again, Jalen Carter, just because you got Jalen Carter, I'm giving you an A. Just because you got him at 5, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, they gave him a C+, but, I mean, in reality, this dude got Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr., and Jalen Ramsey, and Jack Campbell all in the same draft. Like, I got to give – for some reason, PFF gave him a C+. I'll probably go an A with this one.
Yeah, if you roll out next year with their defense, you have Jalen Carter, Ramsey, Porter, Jack Campbell. Like, let's roll.
That's an A. I might even say A+.
Yeah, let's roll.
Yeah, a lot of people want to give up first rounds for Jalen Ramsey. He didn't even do that.
No, and you got Clayton Tune late in the 6th as a project quarterback. I love it. Not a project, but someone you could develop. Love it. We're going to go to break. When we get back, I want to get into some Aaron Rodgers talk, and I want Eazy's thoughts on number one, which team more likely he will go to. And it's been reported he talked to the Jets yesterday. Some conversations developed. I don't know the extent of them. But what does Aaron Rodgers on the Jets look like? And what can the Jets do in a super stacked AFC? We're going to go to break. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned. And by the way, if you called and we didn't get to your call, keep calling because we do want to get to the callers. We'll see you guys right after the break.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness because it is the home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym has always been known to be clean. You guys know that if you check out Planet. But now it's cleaner than ever. Tons of equipment, full-body workout in just the 30-minute circuit. And all memberships include fitness training. Your fitness is essential. We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Jeff Iafrate, Eazy filling in for Adham Beydoun today. Get well, Adam. He'll be back tomorrow expectedly. But we got to get to some things. Aaron Rodgers.
Some things.
The rumors of Aaron Rodgers, he went into his cave in Oregon. He chilled. All he had was a yoga mat, a bed, a bathtub. And he reminisced. He thought about his future. And now he came out. It's kind of like, will there be 6 more weeks of winter? He came out. We saw Aaron Rodgers. And now we know he's out of there. And the Packers, to me, I think the biggest thing is compared to last year, the Packers last year felt like they were waiting on Aaron, and they still are, but in a way, they didn't have a backup plan, right? They weren't as confident in Jordan Love. They felt like, listen, we need you, Aaron, to do anything. And we saw what the Packers did this year, 8-9. They lost to the Lions last game of the season at home. And I think the Packers are very self-aware enough to know. We got a young team. They got Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. They re-signed, they restructured Aaron Jones. Aaron Rodgers is probably as good as gone, I would say. I don't think he returns back to Green Bay. You see the conversations, and I love Funky's comment he put down too. He said, Jeff, the important part to notice is that Rodgers has a no-trade clause. If he is talking to another team, that means both Rodgers and the Pack are on board with him leaving. So it kind of goes into the point I'm making is the Packers are done with Aaron. I mean, it's been reported. You've seen those reports, I'm sure, about just this every offseason thing. It's kind of Brett Favre-ish, where you wait, is he going to retire? Is he going to ask for a trade? Is he coming back? You have Jordan Love. I believe he has 1 more year left on his rookie deal. You got to see what you have in Jordan Love, especially in the NFC North, where they're not going to win. The Vikings and the Lions are better right now, and the Bears have a ton of assets to get better. So the Packers right now are trending downward. They still have a great defense. They got to figure out who's their quarterback. Jordan Love, to me, will be taking over that spot. But Aaron Rodgers with the New York Jets, I think the Jets, this is the best quarterback available. So if I'm the Jets, absolutely I'm pursuing Aaron Rodgers. And I think they were waiting to see what the situation with Aaron was or what he was doing. But what does Aaron going to the Jets, what does it make the Jets in the AFC? Are they a playoff team? Are they a contender, a legitimate contender? Because we saw what the defense for the Jets did last year. And we saw what Aaron Rodgers did last year. He struggled. Wasn't the Aaron Rodgers we know or think of when we watch Aaron Rodgers all these years as Lions fans. But with him, with Robert Saleh, with that defense, with those weapons now, how much does Aaron Rodgers move the needle for the New York Jets?
Off the barometer. I mean, they just dealt with Zach Wilson last year. Like, anything is almost, no offense to Zach Wilson, but almost anything's an upgrade over that. And I think...
Well, hold on. Put some respect on Mike White.
No. I don't think he won a single game as a New York Jet last year. Like,
he beat the Bears.
Get the hype.
If that means anything. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
No, exactly. They beat the Bears, who had the #1 overall pick this year.
Yeah.
Off the fucking chain. Sorry for swearing this early in the morning, but you go get Aaron Rodgers. But I truly, the team I think is going to land him, but what I can envision the most is the Raiders. I know the Jets may want that. I know they fired their offensive coordinator. They brought in Nathaniel Hackett to maybe make that a more attractive destination for Aaron Rodgers. But I think the Raiders have more of an attract. I don't know, actually.
Well, you get Devontae. Mm-hmm. At least you get to reunite with Devontae. You get to play in Las Vegas.
And he's openly recruiting him too.
He is, and I think Josh McDaniels, his preference, and say what you want about Josh McDaniels. I got my own feelings about him as a head coach, but we know he wants a veteran, a really good veteran. Not maybe it's Jimmy. If you can't get Aaron Rodgers, maybe it's Aaron Rodgers. But if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking at the Jets. You go to the Raiders, you look at that division and who you're going to be playing against twice a year. Herbert, Mahomes. I'm good. Sean Payton now. I'm good. I'll go to the Jets. You get the Patriots, the Bills, which still, it's a tough division.
Shout out to Gabby right now.
And by the way, Gabby's hooking everyone up with water. He took care of Eazy and JB. And I just got water. Thank you.
Gabby, you go.
But the real reason why I asked this is, to me, even with Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, to me, they ain't contenders.
Really?
Who are they better? If you put Aaron on the Jets, you still have the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
The Bengals.
For sure.
The Jags, which I think will get better.
That's a great point. You're actually making me think that the Jets is the better option for them, because to even make it out of the AFC West, Chargers, Chiefs, fucking who else am I forgetting right now off the top of my head? That's a very, very dangerous.
Sean Payton. If say what you want about Russell Wilson, still Sean Payton.
Yeah. No, honestly. But the Jets, I mean, they'll be contenders in terms they'll make the playoffs. I mean, the Jets damn near made the playoffs this year with Zach Wilson and Mike White at quarterback. But if you put Aaron Rodgers there, they're at least making the playoffs.
They're better.
You at least give yourself an opportunity to win. I can't guarantee that he's going to win the AFC. That's the hardest. That is the elite when it comes to NFL. When we look at both conferences, the AFC is by far the best one.
Mm-hmm.
In NFC, Jared Goff was like your second best quarterback. Let's be real.
Yeah. No, it's factual information, but also it's factual information. The NFC don't have too many good quarterbacks. In the NFC. JB, we got some callers waiting on the line.
Yeah, we got a couple callers here. I will send you guys Eric because he has been waiting on hold for you guys for a minute.
Shout out to Eric.
Eric, number one, I appreciate you waiting and staying patient. What do you want to talk about, my man? Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I want to talk about this quarterback situation with drafting a quarterback.
Okay.
So, the way I see it is that the Lions right now are win now mode. We are the betting favorite to win the North. We're like third or fourth betting favorite to win the NFC. And I just think that if we're drafting a quarterback in the first or second or third round even, that it is just a waste of potential for what could be a player that's going to completely alter the defense of the Lions, right?
Eric, can I ask you real quick? Can I just debunk that one real quick? Who was in the NFC Championship game this year? Like, what two teams was it?
It was Jalen Hurts with the Eagles and whoever lost. San Francisco?
Okay. And then last year, wasn't it San Francisco and the Rams?
Mm-hmm.
And the year before that was in San Francisco again?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't San Francisco trade up to draft a quarterback in the draft?
Yeah, and it hasn't worked out for him too well.
Well, we haven't got to see him on the field yet, due to injury. But they've been to the NFC Championship 3 straight years.
Yeah, they got a good team.
Good coach, too. I think the Lions got a good coach. And I think you look, and people people saying defense. And I appreciate you waiting to call in, Aaron. I apologize. I got all the smoke for you, Eric. But name your top 3 defenders on the Detroit Lions defense right now.
Top 3 would be Hutch, Houston, and I guess Aleem McNeil.
Yeah. And if you
if you want
to go forward,
that would be the best,
Kirby.
I think.
All right. And then,
Kirby. I forgot about Kirby.
Yeah. So I'll give you those 4. And of those 4, how many of those guys are first-round picks?
Hutch.
Just one, right? Like that's Brad Holmes is him. All right, Brad Hims should be his new name. Like he's able to find these defensive pieces for you all over the draft, and I get the concept of wanting to go defense because it's true. The Detroit Lions do need defense, but unless it's a Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, I almost feel like, me personally, I have the utmost trust in Brad Holmes to go find whatever it is alongside the rest of the draft while preparing the Detroit Lions for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the reality of the situation, you know?
Yeah, I do agree that Brad Holmes has done a phenomenal job at pulling people out late. I feel you have such a better chance of doing that in the first round, and I just don't see doing a quarterback right now when we have Goff, and Goff just played at a Pro Bowl level, and if he's able to do that 2 years in a row, like me personally, I wouldn't have a problem extending him by 2 years if he goes back-to-back Pro Bowl seasons with the Lions, just personally. But I just think we are a defense away from winning the NFC, I think.
Yep.
Our offense was top 5 in the NFL last year. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's kind of my philosophy on that.
I think the beautiful situation you're in, though, too, this year is that you draft a quarterback, and guess who's still your starting quarterback? Jared Goff. Like, you still have, like, your opportunity to go out there and compete this year with Jared Goff at the helm. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not really setting you back too far. Unless if you decide to go that quarterback position over Jalen Carter, then I feel a little squirmish about that.
And I think, Eric, too, because I agree with what you're saying. I think the sentiment, and Neil made this point on Big D. He's been making this point. Like, hey, the window is now. You have an opportunity to not only win your division, but be one of the better teams in the NFC. You should take players that can help you right now. But I think Eazy laid it out for you. It doesn't matter where you're in the draft. You're finding guys like Houston, Malcolm, both 6th-round picks. Like, so Brad can find players. Now, that's why I think quarterback at 6 isn't crazy. Because if you're Brad, it's not just about next year, Eric. It's about the next 5 years, right? How do you capitalize on that window? Because if you avoid a quarterback, right, and let's say we go with what you're talking about, just take a corner, do what you're supposed to do. Take a corner or take a Tyree Wilson, whoever it is, and Jared Goff comes to the table and he wants $40, $45 million, and I'm being friendly there. what are you going to do? And what is your plan at that point? Are you saying, okay, well, now we have to draft a quarterback? Well, you're picking 20s. So you have the 6th pick this year to at least be ready for the future, to plan ahead. Do you get what I'm saying, Eric?
Yeah, I do. I do get it, because I was thinking that earlier this year when I was like, okay, we're never going to have a draft pick this high again. We should grab a quarterback in case something doesn't work out.
Right.
But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, we need to be in win now mode and just pay people who are going to affect this team day one and win the NFC next year, if not just the NFC North in general.
Yeah, no, and again, thank you for the call, Eric, and being patient. I mean, I think
Eric, I appreciate you, man.
You were definitely spot on. I think a lot of Lions fans feel the same way you're feeling. I talk to him all the time, but I appreciate the call, man. You're welcome back anytime, Eric.
Appreciate you.
All right, I got one more thing about Jake Moody real quick.
Okay, what's
I got
up?
a question for it. So, obviously, I love taking a kicker. I think we need one badly that we can have for 10, 15 years on this team, right? But all the PFF drafts, you're able to get him with the last pick that we have. Like, how realistic is that we're going to be able to get him that late? And if it's not realistic, how early are you willing to take him?
Ooh.
Detroit Lions drafted Jason Hanson second, 4th or 2nd, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Eric, that's a great question. I think a lot of mock drafts, you see them at, he's in the 6th round, but you're right. And he's not even really projected as the best kicker right now. I think there's another kid who's, a punter, and another kicker who I've seen floated around is better than Moody. But if you don't want to lose him, you take him, Eric.
As early as 5, dude.
I get it, yeah.
5th round pick.
I don't think I have too much of an issue of them taking Jake Moody. I guess it just depends where you take him. I wouldn't mind if they took him in like the 5th.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking 4th, 3rd, I mean, after you see Kirby and what he's like, maybe you think about it because you could get an impact player at that spot. But 5th round, maybe even late 4th, if they want to trade up and get him, I don't have a problem with that.
I really don't either.
Yeah. No. So to answer your question, Eric, we're all aboard the Jake Moody train.
Yeah, I think if we could somehow manage to grab a 4th from somebody, because we don't have one right now, I think that's where we would take him. Yeah. I think 3rd is too high. I don't think he's going to be there in the 5th.
Yeah, no question, man.
Oh, Eric, that's kind of a tough spot.
Eric, I appreciate the call. Seriously, man.
Fun fact, too, about...
you guys have a great day.
Yep, you too.
From college kicking to NFL kicking. College kicking, the hash marks are a little, smaller.
Mm-hmm.
NFL kicking, the hash marks are wider. They're aligned more with the goalposts. Supposedly, you're supposed to get better as a kicker going from college to the NFL. So Jake Moody could be even better than the NFL.
Dude's got a cannon.
And he's about this life. I don't know if you heard the story about him. He's from Northville, Jake Moody, Michigan native. And Calvin Johnson and Matt Prater were both at his pizza shop. His friends call him up there. He says, you got to come up here. Calvin Johnson's here. He goes up there, completely ignores Calvin Johnson, and just starts talking to Matt Prater for hours, to the point where Calvin Johnson has to interject and introduce himself to Jake Moody. Like, this kid's about that life. I'm not afraid of no Aguero situation where he might get the yips. This kid was born to kick. It almost feels like that. So I'm happy to go as early as a 4th or 5th to draft the Jake Moody. If I'm being honest with you guys.
And Tim makes a great point in the chat too. Tim says we have to factor in free agency though as well. This team could look drastically different in just 2 weeks. I think free agency will clear up a lot of things as well. Mm-hmm. Like if Brad addresses certain positions more aggressively and let's say he goes out and gets a veteran corner. Maybe you don't draft 2-3 corners in the draft like some of these mock drafts have. So again, free agency will clear a lot of those things up. We're going to go to break. When we get back, I want to talk a little about Jameson Williams. And if you guys are on the line, stay on the line because we'll get to you guys as well. But before we go to break, we're going to go to break quickly. We'll be back in a short little bit. Thank you guys for tuning into the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Cousins made lobster food truck is... You fucked me up screaming lobster like that, Jeff. Damn, you can't be doing that, man. I'm already excited talking about this lobster food truck because it's the best one around. Make sure you guys try Cousins Made Lobster today. Scan the QR code to find out where they will be next. That's all you're getting from me.
We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, and you heard Eazy there. Filling in for Adham Beydoun. Adam is sick today. I am the host for today, Jeff Iafrate, and I want to talk about Jameson Williams. Because we talked about him to end the season. We talked about it when the season ended and what our expectations are for Jameson. But legitimately, I want to talk about not only the expectations you have for JMO, but what his role will be this year with the Detroit Lions and how much of an impact or how much do you expect him to bring to the table as a first-round pick last year coming off an ACL injury. And I know we have some callers on the line. JB, who do we got?
Here, I will throw you guys Ryan. Give me 1 second.
Oh, Ryan. Okay. Ryan, welcome to the show, my man. What do you want to talk about? Ryan? All right, we lost Ryan. R.I.P. Ryan. Who else we got?
All right, let me throw Mike to you guys. It's Mike.
Mike, welcome to the show, my man. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, I'd like to start by saying thanks for providing us with such great content in the morning. Also, apologize for all the trades in my mocks that I sent you. I'm sorry about that. It makes me feel
how many trades did you make, Mike? Be honest.
So the last one I actually sent you was like my quote-unquote 2.0. I traded back twice, so I got back to 13, accrued a bunch of picks that I actually used on players. I got Ramsey, and I believe there was another one in there. Maybe I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, I was actually calling to talk about the quarterback situation in the draft. If Stroud or Bryce are there, you obviously you're at a position where you've got some talent you can't turn down. Mm-hmm. But I've been doing a couple of these mocks, and if you can get a first-round pick from next year's draft from Atlanta or Carolina, are you telling me that wouldn't be a top 5 pick potentially, and that maybe we do get Caleb Williams or maybe not Williams, but May from North Carolina? I see potential there, and you can't. You have a chance to take defense right now, and I know Eazy was saying that the 49ers, they traded a bunch, they got Lance, and then they still made a championship. Those guys had defense. Those guys had those players. So if this draft is our chance to build the D to be 49ers caliber, and then you go next year and potentially get your quarterback when you have the defense, how do you not, as Fish would say?
Yeah, that is what he would say. Mike, and by the way, I appreciate the kind words at the start, and I want to address that because I get what you're saying, too. If Atlanta offers you a first-round pick, that's hard to turn down. Like, let's be honest. Like, even
2024 first-round pick,
yeah, the 2024 first-round pick. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about because you don't know with Atlanta. They could get Lamar, or they could have Desmond Ridder and completely suck. So I'm with you, Mike. The problem, though, and this is why I've been more comfortable with the idea of taking a quarterback is, let's say you take that first-round pick, right, and you trade back, you give up, you can't get CJ or Bryce to your point, and let's say you just take the best defensive player available and you wait till next year. I like Drake May. I like Caleb Williams. And you never know. I mean, quarterbacks the year prior. Remember Spencer Rattler was the big one, and then the next year he completely fell off. Fell off the face of the earth. Stuff. So you don't know. But let's just say Drake May and Caleb were no doubt projected top 5 picks. if I'm one of those teams at the top 5 and I need a quarterback, you're not getting them. So there's also the point you got to look at is I think people, and I'm not talking about you, Mike, I'm talking about people I've talked to, saying, well, we'll just wait till next year and get a quarterback.
What do you mean, these people?
Trust me, I deal with a lot of different people, Mike. I can't even lie to you. And people tell me, well, next year we'll just go get Caleb or Drake, and maybe not Caleb because he's going to be probably the number 1 overall pick. And I'm like, well, let's say you're a team like, it could be anybody, Seattle, or bring up any team that needs a quarterback. You don't think they will at least look at those guys and be like, I'm not trading you my pick. I'm taking Drake May or Caleb Williams. So it's a tough situation, Mike, to really fathom. That's why I'm more comfortable with just taking who's there at 6. But also, to your point, that first-round pick looks intriguing. It does.
Shout out to Mike for the love in the beginning. And to be fair to the people making the trades in the mock draft, like if a lot of those trades were offered, like, yeah, you take them. For me, I can't guarantee they're going to be, they're kind of like fantasy-ish. And I'm not mad at them, though, if they're real life trades.
Right. If Atlanta offers you one, they're not going to take Lamar. If they're offering you that next year's first, they're not going for Lamar. So maybe you got a shot next year to be in the top 3, perhaps even.
Right.
But I appreciate your guys' time, man, and appreciate you guys taking my call.
Always, Mike. Dude, you're welcome back anytime, brother. Take care.
Thanks, man. Bye.
All right, JP, we got anybody else waiting?
Oh, yeah, we got a couple people waiting.
All right, bring them to me. What do we got?
You, D.
All right, D, welcome to the show, my man. What do you want to talk about?
Good morning, D.
Hey, good morning, fellas. What's going on with y'all?
What's going on? What do you want to discuss?
Man, so I just kind of wanted to piggyback, man. I think we not really in a position to take a quarterback unless Bryce Young fall, obviously. So let me get to what I think. I think we should continue to build this team up for real because I think we closer to a Super Bowl than what people really think. Like, everybody got us to win the North, but I think, like, we real deal super contenders. So why not use that pick on somebody like a Kalijah Cansey and keep on building this team up so we could compete, like, once we get there. Like, maybe we could shock people how, like, nobody was expecting Bengals to get to the Super Bowl, So why not, like, build the team so we could really, like, shock people? Like, and then Dan Campbell said it's a couple of it guys. I think Kalijah Cansey might be one of them.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you, D, by the way, about Kalijah Cansey. I think
too rich for my
those are the guys that fit what Dan and Brad are looking for. But I would ask you this: when you're so you're saying to me you'd rather just draft defensive players and avoid the quarterback? Is that what I'm getting?
Only because the situation we in. I think we need a quarterback. I ain't huge on golf,
right?
But like, I think the offense is good enough to get it done, but the defense is, that's where we need to pay more attention to. But if everybody hate Bryce Young's size so much and he falls, then yeah, let's take Bryce.
Yeah, I love that. No doubt about it. So the question I would have for you is, do you have faith in Brad to find talent late in the draft? Do you have faith in his evaluation to find guys in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round?
Absolutely.
So that's the question you got to ask, because let's say you take C.J. Stroud, and I'm just using him as an example. Bryce would be, ideal, but let's say you take C.J. You still have 18. You still have a 2nd-round pick. You still have a 3rd-round pick. You still have, the other 3rd-round pick. So you have assets to be able to address that defense. So even 18, I mean, to your point, if you could take a corner, maybe Cansey's there at 18, who knows? I'm just playing hypotheticals. I personally think you could still build this defense and this roster while still taking your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. My only thing for real is, like, why not take somebody who could help us now instead of somebody who's going to help us in a year or two? Like, are we really in that situation to be waiting if our window has already started? Like, somebody that could help us now win that NFC North versus somebody who's going to help us in a year or two? Like, I think Brad is good enough to get that player later.
I think it's because of how much a quarterback specifically can help you in the future. It's not just at the quarterback position. Again, the most valuable trait, we talked about Anthony Richardson and all the stuff he did at the Combine. To me, the most valuable trait is that rookie deal. Like, you're talking about drafting a guy that can help you now. You get a guy you're only paying $6-7 million to. Mind you, you're paying Jared Goff 35 right now, if I'm not mistaken, 31, whatever it may be.
Yeah, 30-ish, whatever.
That's $20+ million that you could spend on a guy that can help you right now too. And we're talking about guys that there's a Bobby Wagner in the free agent market this year. right? Whoever that guy is come next year, if you have the Anthony Richardson, he's ready to start after sitting that first year, that guy you're picking up in free agency is helping you now. And it's a veteran piece too. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody who's already done it before. It may not even be a guy in the free agent market. You can make the trade. It's the same thing the Rams did when Goff was on his rookie deal. Same thing the Eagles did this year with Hurts on his rookie deal. That's the value of that rookie deal is like, yeah, it may not help you for the now, but the amount that it can help you in the future, it's insane.
Yeah, no, that make a lot of sense. So I appreciate y'all. So let me ask you this too. So hypothetically, we were going quarterback, and we did want somebody on that rookie deal. Who do y'all prefer?
I think for me personally, there's two guys that I'm sold on. I wouldn't have an issue at all. That's Bryce and CJ. I think when you get to Will Levis, and I think he'll be gone already, but let's just say if you're talking quarterbacks, I'm back and forth on both Will and Anthony Richardson. And again, I'm not saying you take a quarterback just to take one. It would have to be guys that Brad feels are the two quarterbacks. Maybe he likes all of them, that he feels like, okay, this is the guy. I'm not just taking a quarterback just to take one. But to me, it's got to be Bryce and CJ. I think I'm sold on those two right now.
Yeah, same thing for me. And CJ's almost growing to like my number one spot just because I feel like he has the least amount of questions.
Yeah. Besides you just saying, well, he played at Ohio State. I mean, that's the only thing you got.
And I hate that. Like, that's pretending Texas Tech had a long history of great quarterbacks before Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys aren't even making it to the league.
Yeah, right. So what about you, D?
Yeah.
Who are your guys?
Man, I mean, if we got to sit somebody, like, I'm going with the highest potential, man. I want Anthony Richardson. If I got to take a quarterback, I want that guy with that highest potential. He could sit behind a year or two, and then if he popped the way that he could potentially pop, then we got a superstar for years. But I just imagine that defensive line that we building up. I like Aiden, obviously. Josh Pascal. Man, we need an interior pass rusher. It's like we missing that. Like,
yeah.
I feel like Aiden could grow and Josh Pascal could grow, man in the edge, if we have somebody who like collapse in that pocket. Like, instead, you can't keep on stepping up into that pocket because somebody coming to get your ass. It's different.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, and to your point about Anthony Richardson, man avoids sacks. Like, he has a great pocket presence. So you're right on that, man. Appreciate the call, D, man. You're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah. Thanks,
yes,
man.
sir.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Take care. We're going to go to break. When we get back, I want to bring up free agency because and I'm glad people were talking about it earlier, but there are some guys right now that are cap casualties. And I want to discuss that with Eazy, some of the guys that are available, and maybe if you're interested, and I want the chat's opinion on it, should the Lions pursue these guys? But we're going to go to break. But before we go to break, I'm going to tell you about our friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency. Because, guys, they help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. They have a new podcast called This is the S Word. It helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, tell them or even yourself to head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends over at the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck, because it is the home of the original football bowling game, 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you can pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 Mr. Beer Machine, full bar. Check it all out. FullingWarehouse.com. We're back. We're cooking here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff Iafrate, your host for today, filling in for Adham Beydoun. Eazy from the Woodward Heavyweights, 5 to 7 weekdays. Check those guys out. They'll be on later today. Appreciate you coming in and helping me out, Eazy. I really do. I appreciate that.
No problem, man.
He's a real one. He's doing 2 shows today.
I'm missing out on tips at the dispo right now, Jeff.
He's
gotta pay up, fam.
he's a busy man, dude. Eazy really is. We're lucky to have him. But we're also lucky to be talking about free agents. And the Lions are in a position now where, compared to last year, they can be a little more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think the number one thing is deciding who you want to bring back, because I think people look at who's a free agent this year for the Lions and they think, well, I want to bring these guys back, but I also want to go spend money. You can't have both. They don't have a ton of money. You can bring back a couple guys, but you might need to lose somebody as well. I mean, you got Anzalone, DJ Chark, Evan Brown. You got some guys that are free agents this year, and you're going to have to make a decision there. If I'm being honest with you, and I'm big on Jalen Ramsey, I've already talked about it. Lions should absolutely go pursue him. And if you got to let go of somebody to fill in his salary, I'm all for it. So yesterday, 2 guys that were, cap casualties. Number one being Frank Clark, defensive end, played at Michigan from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's now a free agent. Eric Kendricks, linebacker for the Vikings, longtime linebacker for the Vikings. He is a cap casualty as well.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, we talked a little about, you mentioned him earlier, and something me and Adam discussed. I'm all for it. These are the guys that are being released currently from their teams. Jameis Winston now being released as well, cap casualty. What are your thoughts on just strictly Kendricks, Wagner, Frank Clark? Any of these guys intrigue you? And feel free to comment down below as well as Lions fans. If you're Brad Holmes, what players are you looking at? What kind of players and what positions are you looking at to fill in free agency?
I know a lot of Lions fans are going to jump automatically to the Eric Kendricks release.
Lions fans.
That scared the hell out of me. I'm not gonna lie. But a lot of fans are going to they're going to jump to the Eric Kendricks release because of the linebacker position, the void for the Detroit Lions in terms of talent. But for me, number one on my board, Frank Clark. He's the 3rd all-time postseason sacks. People want to talk about a clutch gene for C.J. Stroud and how there's lack thereof. Frank Clark has it on the defensive end. 3rd all-time postseason sacks. And I know you look at his regular season numbers, and they're not. He's only had 1 double-digit sack season. I think it was 13. Usually he's around 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the experience and the wherewithal all around. I think that he brings to this team, or he could bring to this team, especially if for the people talking about the Detroit Lions competing this year in the playoffs. Frank Clark is a guy that I have my eyes on 100%.
Yeah, and what he would do for Aiden too, to have Frank Clark. I don't even know what James Houston did for Aiden, but another guy like Frank Clark, veteran, played in a lot of playoff games, has rings, knows what it takes. That's the type of veteran I would love. But again, it depends on the cost as well. And I know, JB, we got some people still waiting on the lines, and I want to get to them. Go ahead. Who do we got?
All right, Eazy, you know this guy right here is Scott for you.
What up, Scott?
Hey, gentlemen, how you guys doing?
What's going on?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. I wanted to chip in a little bit on that QB subject y'all were talking about a minute ago.
All right, what's on your mind?
Look, I believe in Brad Holmes that he can find talent late in the draft that's been proven with Malcolm and Houston. But, at the same time, I think this might be your last year with having a top 10 first-round pick. I would go for a QB. Now, me personally, I love Anthony Richardson. But realistically, I would like to see them either take C.J. Stroud or Stetson Bennett. Both of them have been proven quarterbacks and know how to avoid the hit and can take a hit if need be.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I think with Anthony Richardson, there's a lot to like there. And I love that you brought up in the beginning that you have faith because Brad, he's been able to find talent late in the draft. I think that's the overall thing to take away. I understand why people would say this is our window. The window's open right now. But you look at last year in what he did, and even the year prior, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Aleem McNeil. What he's been able to find later in drafts, that's why I'm a lot more comfortable with the idea of taking a quarterback. We can debate which quarterbacks you like and what you don't like, but just the idea of taking a quarterback at 6, Scott, it makes sense to me.
Part of the reason we're talking about these cap casualties in free agency is because of the quarterback contracts they have in those teams. Tennessee signed, and by the way, Ryan Tannehill, serviceable, yeah. Worth cutting, or worth trading Derrick Henry, worth having to cut Bud Dupree. You know what I'm saying? Like all these people they have to get rid of. Now, Patrick Mahomes, different story. Probably worth keeping that guy, right? But you got to look at the situation they're in, too. Last year, they lost Tyreek Hill. This year, they lost both Orlando Brown, who protects Patrick Mahomes, and now Frank Clark, a cap casualty in that, too. That's one of those benefits. You got to, sooner at some point, if you really want to have sustained success, for at least 5 years, you got to draft a guy. And even if you miss him, and he's not an A-plus pick in terms of like a Pro Bowler and highlight real football player, the fact that he's in the rookie deal, you're able to at least build a team around him to cover up those flaws. I mean, again, to Jalen Hurts. Again, guys that sit in this chair typically from 8 a.m. to 10 thought he was going to be out of the league. But once you surround him with talent, looks like an MVP candidate and took it to the Super Bowl.
Right, and that's the big thing. Scott, I appreciate your calling, man. I do. I apprciate it.
One more. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah. What's on your mind?
No, Scott. Get the hell out. No, play. What's up, Scott?
I was doing my mock draft, and about early 5th round, Stetson Bennett was still on the board, and I didn't take him because I had already taken Anthony Richardson earlier in the draft, or C.J. Stroud. You'll see this tomorrow. But I had the testicular fortitude to not trade my picks. I took every pick and drafted every player. I mean, and with Neil, I'm with Neil. I love that rookie contract. You build a player around a rookie contract, you're set for a couple of years. Look at Aiden.
Thanks for calling, Scott. I 100% agree, and I appreciate your testicular magnitude or fortitude.
Have a great one, guys.
Yep, you too, man. Appreciate you, Scott. So we got to go to break in a couple minutes, but I do want to get one more caller because people have been waiting patiently. JB, who do we got?
All right, we got Webb here for you guys. Here's Webb.
What's going on, my man? What do you want to talk about?
What's up, Jeff? What's up, Eazy? I just want to talk on the QB situation and a little bit of the free agency. I mean, I'm with you. I think you got to take the quarterback because, I don't think Ben Johnson's here another year, and I like Jared Goff. He had a good year, but I don't think Jared Goff is that great without Ben Johnson. So we almost lost Ben this year. So you got to look at that. So, whether it's Stroud, Rice, or Richardson, you got to get that quarterback. And the fact that Brad Holmes has proven that, he can get guys late in the draft and, you still can get a D-line in Brazil or, Kansas can still be available at 18. So, I don't think the Lions are going to be picking this high again because I think they're going to have a good season. So, I really think you got to look at the quarterback really, whether it be whichever one they fall in love with. But I think it's between those three if they were looking at one. So, and then I just wanted to touch on what do you guys think about this deal if there was, if they traded the second round or in Swift, traded the second round in Swift for a Ramsey, would you think that would be like a good deal?
Honestly, personally, yes. To answer the second question, because I'm big on Bijan. I'm big on drafting a running back this year. I mean, DeAndre's in a contract year. I can't rely on him. And if you're telling me I'm going to get one of the best corners right now in the NFL and Jalen Ramsey for a second and DeAndre, yeah, I'm all aboard that one, man.
All right. Well, yeah, I just wanted to fly that by you, but love watching y'all, man. Thanks for having me on.
Man, I appreciate you, Webb. And by the way, to Webb's point, talking about the quarterback position, you brought up Ben Johnson, which this is something you brought up as well. You've been preaching for a while, and I agree with to some extent because you notice when Ben got here, it aligned with when the Lions started investing in more weapons as well. They had Amon-Ra St. Brown. When Ben was the pass game coordinator, you saw Amon-Ra St. Brown take off and have a really good second half of the season. So what Ben's done to this offense, I mean, you can't help but be a little nervous what it looks like without him. Even though I'm the one that always tries to give Dan credit for the offense, I think he doesn't get enough credit. It is still concerning to lose someone like Ben Johnson.
It's extremely
for the impact he's had on this
somebody
offense.
Like Ben Johnson.
No question. Yeah.
And I get, we have the passing game coordinator now, like Tanner Strand, like in place to
love it. By the way,
yeah, I love it too, and I hope that he becomes the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions in the absence of Ben Johnson if he gets a head coaching gig, but. I can't even guarantee he's going to be what Ben Johnson is. I hope that's the case. And who knows? Ben Johnson might take him with him to become his offensive coordinator. And that's why I think, like, in terms of an Anthony Richardson specifically, and obviously, again, I've been kind of clear that my number one guy would be C.J. Stroud. But with an athlete back there, you can kind of make up for those mishaps, in schematics. Because when shit hits the fan, a guy like Anthony Richardson can take it to 60 yards to the crib. He has a faster 40 than Justin Fields that you saw outduel Lamar Jackson as a rushing quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, a hell of an arm, too. I'd say he has a better arm than Justin Fields. And he's sitting this year, too. Like, you get to develop him as that quarterback.
Yeah. And it's a great situation. You cannot deny the Lions in terms of what they have offensively. It's a great situation for any rookie quarterback. Just depends on who Brad likes, and you trust them enough to make that decision. We're going to go to break quickly. When we get back, we're going to get to some callers, and I want to bring up more of the idea of drafting a running back. Bijan, your guys' thoughts on it. We'll see you guys after the break.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Jeff Iafrate, your host for today, filling in for Adam Beydoun. Eazy from the Woodward Heavyweights, 5 to 7 weekdays. And we got an interesting topic to talk about, something that I've been more fond of as of recently, doing my research, getting to really all of these prospects, and Bijan Robinson being a guy that I've invested a lot in. Because, again, you look at the running backs this year, and typically the philosophy in the NFL, and I agree with it to some extent, is you don't typically take running backs in the first round. Usually, I mean, you look at some of the Super Bowl winning teams and who they were paying and what they had at running back. Typically, it's not, highly paid running backs or high drafted running backs, at least not of late. So I get that argument. Isaiah Pacheco just last year, you saw what he did as a 7th round pick.
Yeah.
But Bijan Robinson, if you're talking about a running back that's worth a first rounder, that's the guy right there. And the reason why I'm more fond of it in the first round is because you get that 5th-year option. So if you're telling me I can get 5 years of Bijan, his productivity on a rookie deal, come on. That's got to intrigue you, unless you love another running back, and that's fine. But Bijan's talent, you can't deny.
No, you can't deny Bijan's talent. I've been on board. Honest to God, I've been on board with drafting Bijan at times before the quarterback hype behind Anthony Richardson. I don't want it now, but even at 6 at times I've thought about it. You can't deny his talent. The only thing to hold me back was actually a call today. And I apologize for getting who made the call. I think it was Eric maybe. But you do have DeAndre Swift on his contract deal.
It was Darrell.
You do have DeAndre Swift on his contract year. You do have Jamal Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bijan and Jamal Williams can coexist because Jamal Williams is like a short yardage goal line guy. But with Swift, if healthy, that does cause a little bit of complications. But at the same time, all due respect to DeAndre Swift, and I'm pretty tight with some people within his camp, he hasn't been healthy.
Yeah, that's the thing. People say, well, it's his contract year. Okay, well, if I'm DeAndre, you can't wait to your contract year to play well. Like Josh Jacobs this year had a hell of a contract here, and he got franchised. But is DeAndre Swift Josh Jacobs? Like that's the question. And DeAndre has yet to have a 1,000-yard season. He's a weapon. You can use DeAndre, and you can't deny the talent he has. But still, Bijan, talk about someone you could rely on. Like Jamal, to me, someone you can rely on, obviously. But you talk about potential. Bijan is so much higher than Jamal. It's not even funny. What he could do in the pass game as well, it's unbelievable.
And if you're one of those win now guys, if you're in that camp, then Bijan 100%.
Bijan's got to be at least a pitch. And look what Jared Goff did with Todd Gurley.
Exactly.
You're telling me you don't want Bijan Robinson.
That's the point I was getting ready to make too.
Who do we got on the line, JB?
We got Lance for you guys.
Lance, welcome to the show, my man. What's on your mind?
Make a dance.
What's going on, folks?
Good morning, man.
How's it going?
I had a couple things to say, but to start, I think you guys should have a show together called Yin and Yang, because Jeff's all level-headed and mellow, and Eazy, he's fired up all the time. I think it'd be a pretty good idea for a show.
Lance, I promise you will get royalties from that if we sell those merch. You will get some of the royalties.
Sweet. That would be awesome. Have a yin and yang with the circles being each one of your faces. That'd be pretty sweet.
One black, one white.
I'd
It's
buy
kinda
one.
weird, Lance. No, I'm just kidding.
Lance, what's on your mind, my man? What do you want to talk about? Appreciate the comments.
So 3 things that I think the Lions really should do. 2 sleepers. I know that you guys brought up Julius Brents and Clayton Tune several times, which I think is a good idea. But there's a sleeper out of Princeton named Andre Iafrate. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yep.
Yep, I've been watching his highlights, man. That guy's a beast. Like, double coverage, it's unbelievable. I think, instead of signing DJ Chark to that, long contract or even expensive contract for that matter, why not go young and a guy that can go up and contest for the ball?
Yeah, there's some receivers, and I think that's why when I see mock drafts, Lance, with receivers in it late in the draft, I don't actually hate it because you look at who they have right now. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. Obviously, Jameson we love. But if you don't re-sign Chark, there ain't that much there. I mean, Josh Reynolds I like, but to your point, to go out and get somebody, I don't hate the idea, Lance. I really don't.
Right. And then, wow, I just had a complete brain fart. Sorry about that. But yeah,
I guess if you want, I guess I want to get on the receiver point too. It's like I think that is a position of need if the Detroit Lions don't re-sign DJ Chark. Yeah. I think you saw a lot of the things you liked out of Jameson Williams this season, and I think a lot of us have high expectations for Jameson Williams this season. But when you looked in those moments, DJ Chark was a part of that equation. If you actually listen to the offensive coordinator himself, Ben Johnson, spoke, I think it was like 3 weeks ago now, with Tim Twentyman, sat down, and he said that he likes Jameson Williams particularly in that slot position. Now, if there's any offensive mind or coach to listen to what they like at in terms of like offense, it's Ben fucking Johnson. Yeah. And if he likes Jameson Williams in the slot,
sure.
then I like Jameson Williams in the slot. So I need another guy to put on the outside. So I think drafting a receiver, it becomes a need if you don't re-sign DJ Chark, 100%.
And the last point, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. I think they should also look into re-signing Justin Jackson. He's a good running back. That, I mean, he's a good 3-4 yard pickup when you need it. And I think they could get him on a pretty good deal. I don't think they'd have to pay a ton for him.
Yeah, and no, Lance, you're right. I think the running back position, whether it's Justin Jackson or somebody else in the draft, you're going to have to get a third running back because Swift, to me, I can't rely on him. Although he's super talented, I agree with you. You got to have a third running back, and that was Craig Reynolds the year prior, but still, I think they address it in the draft. But I wouldn't be mad if they don't take a running back and they got Justin Jackson. Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, there's some talent coming out. Zach Charbonnet. So it's something the Lions are going to have to at least consider. But thank you for the call, Lance, man. I appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate you, Lance.
For sure, man.
Have a good morning, man.
Yep, you guys too.
So on that talk, too, about the running backs. So Jamal Williams, and he's still a free agent technically. We don't know what his future holds. And teams are going to be interested in Jamal. That's clear. It's already been rumored. The Panthers with Deuce Staley, obviously. You got the Bills. Jamal's going to have a market. Now, if he wants to return to Detroit, I'm all open to it. But the reality is nothing's guaranteed. Just because Jamal wants to come back to Detroit and Brad is looking to re-sign him, you never know if they can't come to an agreement. So I do believe running back is something the Lions are going to have to look to in the draft. So we're going to go to break. When we get back, mailbag time. Drop your questions down below. Me, Eazy, JB, whoever. Drop the questions, and we'll try to get to every single one of them. But before, I got to tell you about our friends at Cintron. Because, guys, Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Right now, they have an exclusive offer for Woodward sports fans for their limited edition Red Wings 6-pack. Only $15 plus free shipping. Head to drinkcintron.com/Woodward and try it today. All delicious Cintron flavors in one. The classic sugar-free, and cranberry. That's drinkcintron.com/Woodward.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing, At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta has you covered. Call them today, 844. Go to Alta. That's 844. Go to Alta today. Shout out to everybody, by the way, sticking with us through the entire show. It's 9:50, and to everybody who tuned in from the start till now, thank you for supporting the show, man. You guys are real. That stuck through, called the show, support the show. I love the morning show chat, man. Some of the realest people. Jeff Iafrate, your host for today. Eazy filling in for Adham Beydoun, and we're gonna get to questions. And JB, I want your thoughts on these two. We'll go around. Mike says, "Ask Eazy. Who do you like better, the hype with Malik or the hype with Anthony Richardson?"
The hype with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I think if people go back and like re-listen to the Malik takes from Studio B when the heavyweights were back in there, it was always like, I'd be cool if it was a pick at number 2 because it makes sense. Like, you draft a quarterback for the future type thing. Anthony Richardson, 6'4", fastest 40 outside of Michael Vick.
Yeah,
like, this is a different type of prospect.
He's bigger, better arm. Like, played in the SEC. Like, there's things you can talk yourself into Anthony Richardson. Malik there's probably a lot more doubt there. But yeah, you're right. I don't see people think this will be the same scenario. Like, Anthony Richardson will slide to the 3rd round.
It
ain't gonna happen.
That is wild.
It ain't gonna happen this year. I promise you that. Jack Harrington says, "Mailbag, what's worse, Adam's immune system or Michigan's weather?" That's a tough one, Jack. I think when you mix those two things together,
it's parallel.
It's pretty even. It's like the Spider-Man meme of them looking at each other. Like, I don't know. It's a great question. Jamcat says, "Mailbag, would you be back on sell the team train if we go for a wide receiver in the first 4 picks?"
No.
I wouldn't say sell the team. I think they've done enough over the last 2 years where I believe still. And if Brad took a wide receiver, I guess that would just clear up some things because free agency's first. So if they don't re-sign DJ Chark, it makes sense to me. That's why it's hard for me to say that now before free agency. I don't know what he's going to do. Yeah. Maybe DJ gets a deal elsewhere. He's like, well, I'm good. I ain't paying him. I'm going to go draft one.
Exactly.
I'm all for it.
Look at the money these wide receivers are getting paid. I mean,
bags. Justin Jefferson. He's about to get.
It's very possible that the Detroit Lions get outpriced on the DJ Chark, and they might have to go wide receiver with one of the first 4 picks because I don't think this wide receiver class is that deep.
No, it's not. So Jesse asked, Mailbag Jeff, can you talk some common sense to the big guy up there and Eazy by saying Khabib is the GOAT over John Jones until John won this past Saturday?
Yeah, that was my stance. I think you and I have had this conversation before plenty of times. Like, Khabib was the way John Jones won that fight this past Saturday, Jeff. Was that not reminiscent to almost every single fight Khabib's ever had?
The thing I would give John over, Khabib has the cleaner resume, right? He doesn't have the mishaps.
Steroids.
Right.
Yeah.
But John, in terms of greatness in the title fights, the dominance, like, that's where Khabib, and it's Conor always says this when he was talking trash to Khabib, he's like, he's fighting guys that were 3-6 when he was 18-0 and 19-0, whatever it was. I don't know. I think that's what I love about the GOAT conversation across any sports. I think you can make an argument for a couple different guys. For sure. Like, George St. Pierre gets left off there a lot. Like, so again, I don't hate if you think Khabib's the GOAT.
Order. Your top 3.
Rank them in order.
MMA GOATs, yeah.
Oh wow. I think John to me is the GOAT. That's my GOAT personally.
I think he reestablished that Saturday.
Khabib's in there, and then I'd probably go
GSP,
and maybe Silva's just on that outside. But those are, I mean, they're all great. I think it's really pick your flavor. If you want to nitpick, like John, well, he did steroids. That's fine.
Yeah.
But again, John's my GOAT.
I needed this from John this past weekend because like him coming back without the juice was nothing reminiscent to like his prior performances on the juice.
Yeah.
So he's seen him dominate Cyril Gama's. Okay, I needed that.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, he did everything he had to do. Marcello says, Mailbag, would you agree if the Lions don't address quarterback in free agency, it's almost given they're drafting a quarterback, and where is the question? So if they don't address a quarterback in free agency, I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're not. They use this term "develop" specifically, and I think there's a lot of pieces in this draft to develop. Even if you go past that first round, there's a Hendon Hooker there. A lot of people like Clayton Tune. Hendon Hooker is like the one and only one though for me. Like you talking about like not having turnovers, having a great completion percentage, the ability to run.
Yeah.
I mean, Hendon Hooker should get you up in the morning.
And he said he'll be ready by training camp. So there you go. That's more positive news. Let's see questions. Andrew says, would it surprise y'all if Brad put a big focus on defense and free agency in second round on, along with trading for Ramsey and draft a quarterback in Robinson with the first 2 picks? Wow.
Not at all.
As much as I can say at first glance, I don't love offense in the first 2 picks. If you're telling me he addresses holes in free agency, isn't that what the Bengals did? The Bengals pretty much bought their defense. I mean, Trey Hendrickson, Von Bell, like they had pieces there, but they went out and spent money. Now, Lions don't have a lot of money, but to your point, Andrew, if they address some of those positions, I think I would be more comfortable with the idea. Because again, free agency, it depends on what they do in free agency. So
this is what going to be the second youngest team heading into next year, more than likely.
Yeah, like the defense will get better just alone if you don't add anybody.
Just from like experience.
Yeah. Malcolm, Aiden, James, these
Another
guys.
Year in the system.
Josh Pascal, yes, Kirby. They'll all just get better, but they still got to fill some needs. So
the only reason why I'd be surprised is like the amount of cap space Detroit Lions have to work with. It's not much. That'd be the only reason why I'd be surprised.
Right, you might not be able to get the marquee guys.
In theory, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
this team could use some vets.
Let's see. Who do you guys want at linebacker? Mudtron asks.
For free agency or
I guess
draft?
I'll change the question a little bit. What would you prefer them to address that linebacker position? More so in the draft, or are you looking at guys, the veterans in free agency that you'd like to add first?
That's a damn good question.
Because I don't mind if you double dip. Maybe you take you sign a linebacker in free agency, and maybe you take one. And you take a Jack Campbell in the draft. I wouldn't hate that, especially if a guy you can move around. I don't hate it.
I think that's a perfect answer. Yeah, double dip, but in the realms of reality, again, like looking at how much the Detroit Lions had to work with in cap space, it's
most likely
it'll
be in the draft. Yeah. Mailbag, tight end or wide receiver with one of the first 4 picks without any free agency signings or either position.
My God.
You're a tight end.
The first 4 picks.
I
want a tight end with the first 4 picks. You want a tight end. They had
you heard him. That is my guy Jamcat. He did say that.
Jamcat. I mean, no, I don't want to go too hard on you, man. It's kind of early in the morning. What the fuck are you? What the fuck?
It's that chair, dude. When you sit in Adam's chair, it's different.
The first 4 picks, Jeff?
No, I get it. No, I for me, like my favorite tight end in the draft is Dalton Kincaid. I'm not taking him in the second first round or the second round pick. So I would go wide receiver if I had to pick one of those positions. Yeah. Tight end. Yeah.
Look at the production the Detroit Lions got out of the tight end room this year.
I'm okay.
TJ, I'm sorry, man. All right.
Jamcat said, I want to hear you think, dog. Bitcon51 says, what do you guys think, or what do you think the villain sweatshirt Brad was wearing means? I think it's, I guess it's a little foreshadow. He knows the narrative, right? I think the Lions are heading into that mold. Right now, they're everybody's favorite team nationally, or second favorite team, more everyone rooting for the Lions. The Lions are going to get to a point, and I said this a while ago, I want the Lions to be hated. I want us to be the villain because good teams are typically the villains. You hate good teams. I don't want to be the little brother. You want to be the team that other teams and other fan bases hate playing against. So I think Brad's kind of embracing that narrative, and I absolutely love it. They should be the villains going forward.
At first, I wasn't comfortable with it because I feel like you almost have to earn that right to be the villain. But if the Detroit Lions really want to make the jump they're planning to make, putting that villain tag on them is kind of forcing the young players to do so. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the expectations we're putting on you.
And Cobezilla says the villain hoodie was a huge middle finger to Green Bay. I mean, you get Green Bay saying stuff, specifically Aaron Rodgers saying things about the Detroit Lions.
I did have someone in the Woodward Heavyweights chat, 5 to 7, make sure you guys tune in. But they said that Brad Holmes said that was more so from the scouting department. In another interview with Michael Smith,
about the villain hoodie.
Yeah.
They are villains, man. They're causing havoc in the draft, finding studs late in the draft, so no doubt about it. Jesse Adams says, Mailbag, Todd McShay's new mock is out. He had the Lions taking Gonzalez at 6. Side note, Carter is still up for grabs. He dropped to 12 to Houston. At 18, we get Van Ness. Thoughts? So you get Gonzalez when you pass over Carter, and then 18 you get Van Ness. So we'll just start with the first one. Gonzalez over Jalen Carter.
All right, man. We talked about John Jones. Beat his wife. Hit a pregnant lady. Jesus. I mean, whatever. You name it. He's almost done all of it. But guess what he still celebrated as this morning, Jeff? The GOAT. I don't give a shit If Jalen Carter is there at 6, you draft him. Ray Lewis murdered a man. Allegedly.
Yeah, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Aaron Hernandez did murder a man. And he went out and won a Super Bowl.
Caught a touchdown pass that week after, I believe.
Dude.
So it's that.
I don't get, and this is like these are misdemeanors. Like this is like
it's not a significant crime. If he was driving the vehicle in which those two people passed away in, I think it becomes much more of a criminal case. Like right now, him driving away from a scene. I don't know. The misdemeanors, I'm all for Jalen Carter.
Real quick.
So,
and I know the show's ending. I apologize, but Cornelius T. and whoever else in the Woodward Sports Chat, think about what you would do for $1 million. Just $1 million.
Oh, that's a lot of weird things going on.
Would you murder somebody for $1 million?
Okay, all right. Well,
I'm not saying he murdered anybody.
No,
he didn't murder anybody.
This conversation.
But this is multiple millions of dollars on the line for Jalen Carter.
All right. Yeah, well.
Draft Jalen Carter at 6. I don't know.
So the feds might be listening. We got to end the show, guys. I appreciate to every single one of you who tuned in from start to finish. Seriously, I much appreciate it. Adam should be back tomorrow. Don't forget, Big D Energy 11-1, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz 2-4, and then the Woodward heavyweights Eazy, Spence 5-7. We're gonna go. I'll see you guys. Drop a like. Check out the website, merchandise, articles. It's got everything.
Would you drive away from a crime scene for $6 million?
Until tomorrow, Eazy. I swear to God. We'll see you guys. Appreciate it.
$26 million.